During a protest at Stanford University in the 1980s, students called for the abolition of Western civilization, chanting, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, Western civ has got to go." This outcry echoed sentiments voiced decades earlier by feminist activist Susan Sontag, who in the late 1960s declared that the white race is the cancer of human history, and that the white race, along with its ideologies and inventions, is the singular force that destroys other civilizations. Hostility toward Western civilization is far from new, yet it has intensified and become more widespread in recent years. Activists now argue that education must be decolonized, statues of historical figures should be torn down, and street names should be changed. Politicians, educators, and public figures are quick to denounce the perceived failings of Western society, urging a collective sense of guilt for past transgressions. President Biden has acknowledged the existence of institutional racism in the United States, while anti-racist author Robin DiAngelo asserts that virtually all white people are racist. When addressing the evils of racism, colonialism, exploitation, environmental degradation, war, and inequality, critics overwhelmingly point to the West, rarely assigning similar blame to other cultures or nations. Given the overwhelming volume of criticism and self-reproach from Western leaders and intellectuals, it is little wonder that many now believe something is fundamentally wrong with Western society, with its history seen as primarily based on exploitation and violence. It is fair to say that the West is undergoing an identity crisis, but is the West truly as bad as it is made out to be? While self-criticism is a valuable trait, and notably less common outside the West, a balanced examination of the West's contributions yields a starkly different conclusion than the one currently drawn. The West has contributed greatly to the world, and Western ideals still hold the promise of a better future for much of the global population. Misguided guilt undermines this potential. For centuries, the West has been at the forefront of art, science, and technology. American sociologist Charles Murray conducted an in-depth quantitative analysis of encyclopedias, textbooks, and scientific and artistic studies. In his book, Human Accomplishment, Murray concludes that 97% of all major, widely recognized achievements in art and science from 1400 to 1950 were made by individuals from Western Europe and North America. In the fields of biology, astronomy, medicine, geosciences, physics, and chemistry, inventors and scientists of European descent dominate. Think of Newton, Einstein, Faraday, Archimedes, Hippocrates, Galileo, Edison, Tesla, Huygens, Darwin, Marie Curie, Copernicus, Pasteur, Crick and Watson, Charles Babbage, the list goes on. Almost all of these brilliant minds hailed from Europe or North America, and their contributions have profoundly expanded human knowledge and improved lives worldwide. Certainly, other cultures and continents have made significant contributions to the growth of science and technology, but the Western contribution is indisputably overwhelming. The Industrial Revolution, which took root in England in the 18th century with innovations such as the steam engine, sparked a dramatic rise in prosperity in Europe, and later in the rest of the world, as industrialization spread. Louis Pasteur's discovery of bacteria greatly advanced public health, causing average life expectancy in Europe to climb steadily from around 1800, an unprecedented phenomenon. Perhaps the single most transformative innovation in history was the invention and spread of electricity, which began in Europe and America. It brought about an unparalleled improvement in living standards across the globe. The invention of the two-stroke internal combustion engine by German engineer Carl Benz in 1879, along with his development of the motor car, revolutionized mobility. Oil-rich countries indirectly benefited from this as well, since, without Western technology, their oil reserves would have remained untapped and worthless. One of the great advantages of knowledge is that it multiplies through sharing. As Western technology spread, other nations also progressed. Norman Borlaug, an American scientist often called the father of the Green Revolution, developed pioneering advances in crop enhancement during the 1950s and 1960s, tripling agricultural yields. His work helped India, a country once plagued by famine, become a grain exporter. Borlaug is credited with saving 1 billion lives. Similarly, the modern IT revolution, computers, the internet, telecommunications, also largely originated in the West, revolutionizing communication and commerce worldwide. In addition to science and technology, the West has made unparalleled contributions to architecture, visual arts, painting, literature, and music. Western culture gave the world classical music, exemplified by the towering compositions of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. For centuries, the West produced unmatched works of art and architecture, from exquisite paintings to magnificent palaces and cathedrals. Tourists from around the globe flocked to marvel at Europe's architectural wonders, from Amsterdam's iconic canals to Florence's Grand Duomo, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, Versailles, and hundreds of other breathtaking buildings and cities. What other continent offers such a concentration of cultural beauty? It is difficult to pinpoint exactly what factors led to the West's extraordinary cultural, technological, and scientific achievements. The foundations of Western culture lie in the civilizations of ancient Greece and Rome, while Christianity played a significant role in shaping Western values, with its message of individual worth. Political fragmentation across the European continent may have fostered greater dynamism and freedom than in more centralized regions. The invention of the printing press, the development of the scientific method during the Renaissance, the free exchange of ideas, the hard-won battles for religious freedom, and the concept of individual rights all first appeared in the West and undoubtedly contributed to its success. Of course, Western countries have committed grave injustices, including violence, repression, slavery, racism, and oppression. No one denies this. The point is that no culture or country is innocent of such acts. However, the West's achievements in technology, science, and art stand as unique gifts to the world, and this is only part of the story. In the realms of social and political progress too, the West has accomplished extraordinary feats. More on that in part 2 of this 4-part series.